Hello, everyone. Ooh. Hello, everyone, and what was that? Welcome to another live stream session. Welcome. If you have been with me all week this week, yay you. Thank you for carving out the time and being here with me on the live stream. If you are catching this on the replay, oh, I didn't check my volumes. If you are catching me on the replay, thank you for doing this. Thank you for carving time out for learning. Thank you for carving time out for listening, right? And for your growth, you need to give yourself a pat on the back, because as I always say, even if it's one thing that you've taken away from what I've said, my job would be done, right? Even if it's one thing, my job would be done. And so I would have done a great job. And so thank you for being here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Waveney. I'm a leadership mindset coach, and I help new managers or develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work, leveraging their communication skills, and working on their mindset is huge. It's something that I have grown to love. It's something that I have incorporated in my own life, and I've seen the results of that. For you to be successful, for you to have what you want, you have to be willing to change your mind. You have to be willing to call yourself out on your BS, right? If you have just stumbled upon me and you're someone, when you're given feedback, you get upset, then you may have to look at your mindset. You may have to look at the reason why you get upset, that you're so uncomfortable with feedback, why you're so uncomfortable with being confronted with certain things. And so I've been here all week. If you have not had the opportunity to look at the videos, please do so. You can go, if you're viewing me on Facebook, the replays are posted on Facebook, the replays are posted on Instagram, and they are also on YouTube. So if you have a work bestie, or if you have someone that are some people in your community that can benefit, share it all out. And so today is Thursday. I hope you had an amazing day. And so tonight, my topic is really about something that sabotages your leadership. You know, you being successful as a leader. I don't remember exactly the topic I put, but I think it was the best way to sabotage your leadership. I have so many topics that sometimes I get confused, right? Which topic is which day? But it is the best way to sabotage your leadership. And so, you know, if you're just joining me, I mentioned earlier on that I have been in management for, I can't even see my paper, I think it's 18 years. I mentioned it this year. I actually did check. 18 years. I have been a human resource professional for 18 years, and I've been in the hospitality business for 22 years, right? And so I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of leaders that were very successful. I've had leaders that helped me to be a success, and this is one of the reasons why I'm sharing with you, because I want you to be successful. And even if you are not a leader, you know, you don't have that title, you can still benefit because you are a leader in your own way. Maybe you're doing something at your church. Maybe you are doing something, you know, maybe you're heading a project, maybe you're a part of a committee, and you can certainly benefit from it. But one of the things that I've seen over the years, I've seen leaders who were successful and those who weren't successful. And one of the things that Sabotage, and it's the best way, one of the best ways, I should say, one of the best ways to sabotage their leadership success is their leadership style, their default style of leadership. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole session on the various types of leadership styles. We can do that at another time, right? And also, yeah, we can do that at another time, or if you want to consult our friend Google after you're done, you can also do that. But there is a particular style of leadership that, give me one moment, checking something here. There's a particular style of leadership that I have found to be very, very crippling to the team and to the person's success. And this is someone's autocratic. It's what you call an autocratic leadership style. And this is a leadership style that basically says, do what I say and not as I do. I've seen people come in with, and when I say come in, into the organization with this type of leadership style, which can really cripple them. It really lends itself to a sort of hierarchical type of system where I am up here and everybody else is down there. If you're not a leader, then everybody else is down there. And here's my thing. You cannot live in a democratic society. You cannot live in a democratic society and think that this type of leadership style will work. No. Let me preface this by saying that there are times that you have to employ an autocratic style leadership. You have to employ this leadership style that says, hey, I am in charge and I need for you to do what I say, no questions asked. It's very few and far between. It's usually, maybe it's in a case of an emergency that people need to act quickly and swiftly, and you do not have time to get a consensus, you do not have time to explain or what have you. Think about COVID. That's probably a bad example, but think about COVID and how autocratic everything became. We were told what to do. It's a bad example, I know, but it is an example all the same, right? We were told what to do, and that is the type of leadership style I am talking about. It has its time and place, but like I said, it's few and far between. But I have seen over the course of my career that there are some leaders that come into the work environment and they have this particular, this mindset, okay? I don't even know what that is. They have this particular mindset where they're in charge, they're up here, everybody's down there. Do not question me. This is what you do. And these type of leaders, they fail, and they fail miserably. They may even end up being terminated, out of, separated from the company, because here's the deal. I have a boss and he always says, right? He always says, it is easier to replace a leader than it is to replace the masses. And it is the absolute truth. But sometimes in leadership, people feel as though I'm the leader, right? And it's a fallacy. It's a false sort of hope. People feel like they are irreplaceable because I'm here, I'm the leader. Nobody is going to listen to you. And I wanted to bring this to the fore because if you are not careful, right, sometimes before we get into leadership, we vow and we swear that we are not going to be like a particular manager that we have, or a particular leader that we have. But then if we don't take the time to develop ourselves, to get the resources that we need, we can very well end up being like the person that we said that we would not be like, all because we did not prepare, all because we did not equip ourselves for this leadership role. And we may do it, right, out of fear of not failing. We don't want to fail, and this is the only way we know how to do. We don't have, time is running out, we're failing, we're having all these issues, we're trying to prove ourselves, and because we are not willing to invest in a coach, we are not willing to invest in 30 minutes or 45 minutes of listening to Waveney over here at the People's Brand, we are failing miserably. And because we have not done that, we are ill-equipped to do our jobs. And because we're ill-equipped, we just grasp. Like the saying goes, a drowning man will grasp at straws. I don't want that for you. I want you to be equipped. I want you to be ready to face the challenges, to face the opportunities that you have. And what I don't want for you is to default into a mode of leadership, because there's a tendency, we can know that, hey, I know this style has not worked. I know this sort of top-down approach, this sort of autocratic approach. I know this type of leadership style has not worked in the past. I've seen it. I'm a victim of it. But because I don't have the tools to do it, because I don't have the tools to do my job, and because I need a quick fix, hey, this is what I'm going to default to because this is what I know, right? And we have to be very mindful of that. And so I wanted to talk about this evening because it's important. So you can't live in a democratic society and think that you're going to go into a work environment, especially after COVID, and have a leadership style that is very autocratic in nature. You can't survive COVID and think it'll work. You can't survive COVID and think you're going to just go in and tell people what to do and have this sort of hierarchical approach, have this sort of better than you type of mindset and approach. It does not work, and you will fail, and you will fail miserably. So what is this really all about? What is this really all about? This type of leadership, like I said, it's like a drowning man or woman grasping at straws, and I think it's a fear response. It is a fear response. It is rooted in fear, because if you think about it, somebody who is confident, somebody who is competent, somebody who has an open mindset, somebody who has a growth mindset, they may not know what to do, but they have the resources, or they're going to say, let me find out. Whereas someone else who just needs a quick fix, that's what they default to. So it's a fear response. It's a fear response, and it's a response that shows you're trying to prove. You're trying to prove. It also is. It also shows that it also is very immature. Very immature, and a weak response. And with the change in workforce, this is not like yesteryear when my mother was working, your mother was working. I won't even get into the generations because I get them all mixed up between Gen Zs, baby boomers, and all of that. I get them all mixed up. But the workforce is different. And how are you going to tell in the age of the internet, in the age of people can just pop on, live stream, and make money? In the age, in this sort of entrepreneurial, creative age, how are you going to manage and tell someone, listen, I am in charge and this is what you do, and don't question me? If you have a leader and they don't want to be questioned, then you have a problem, because I believe no one should shut down your ability to question and to think. This is why God gave us a brain. So if you have a leader that is saying to you, just do as I say, or this is the way it's done, or does not in their leadership style, their approach does not invite and welcome thoughts and ideas, that is not a great leader. I don't even need to know anything else. I'm telling you, they're not a great leader. My job here this evening is to highlight it and to ensure that you are not practicing that type of leadership. And then also, it shows that you're abusing your title and your power. You're hiding behind your title and your power. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't you want someone to follow you? Wouldn't you want to influence people just because of who you are and your uniqueness and what you bring to the table, instead of trying to use fear and intimidation? Because that is what that type of approach does. That is what that type of approach welcomes. It welcomes fear and intimidation, and we want to ensure we are operating at an influential level and not at a level of this type of leadership. And so when you take away someone's power to speak, because that is what you're doing, you're essentially saying, this is your work, this is, you go do this, I don't want to hear anything. When you take away someone's power to speak, to express themselves, you're taking away their power to vote. And here at the People's Brand, influential leadership is all about making an impact. Influential leadership is all about leaving a legacy. Influential leadership is about impacting lives and changing lives just where you are. Influential leadership is using the platform of your leadership, using the platform of your position to make a difference in the world. That is influential leadership. Okay? That is influential leadership. This is your platform. And so we don't want to stifle and alienate, stifle people's growth, alienate them. Okay? We don't want to have people feeling unsafe at work and having a unregulated nervous system and feeling uncomfortable around you, and whenever you are around, they are so stressed out, or you are giving them such anxiety that they cannot perform, right? We don't want you to be the cause of anybody's stress response. And so I would want to invite you to take a deeper look at what your leadership style is. What is your default leadership style? Like I mentioned, autocratic leadership has its time and place. It's very few and far between. Unless you have an emergency, you should not be using this type of leadership style. So what is your style of leadership? This type of leadership style, and this is one of the things with mindset. What is the mindset of an influential leader? What is the mindset of a leader who is successful? You really need to think about that. What is the mindset of a leader who is successful? This is why I keep saying the work has to be you, because how you behave, how you operate is wrapped up in your identity. It's wrapped up in your identity. And so when it comes to leadership, what is that identity? Do you know what makes a successful leader? Do you know the basic characteristics, the basic tenets of what makes a successful leader? And are you practicing those? If the answer is no, if you've never sat down and thought about what would make me an influential leader, what would make me a successful leader, if you have not sat down intentionally and thought about it, you are flying by the seat of your pants. And the reason why I say that, you may not be practicing an autocratic style leadership, but if you are not certain, if you don't know what makes a successful leader, if you can't list for me at least 5 characteristics, if you can't describe to me the identity of a successful leader, you are flying by the seat of your pants. Which means that sometimes your style and what you do is working, and the other times it is not working, and this may be the cause of your frustration. In one of my, I think it is in this coaching program, my communicator influence, the foundation, I think it's module 1. It could be either module 1 or it could be the pre-work before you get into the module. You go through these exercises of what it means to be a leader. You go through your leadership commitment, because this is not a joke. You are impacting people's lives. And the fact that you are listening to me, the fact that if you're catching me on the replay and you've reached this point, it means that you want to learn and grow. And so take it from someone who's been in leadership for 18 years. Take it from someone who is an HR professional who has seen many leaders, many successful ones and many unsuccessful ones. Take it from me. The successful persons, the successful leaders that I have had or I have observed are the ones who are intentional about what they do. They're intentional about how they behave, because leadership is a behavior. They're a set of behaviors. They're intentional about how they behave. They're intentional about how they show up. And it's not to say that they don't make mistakes. It's not about making mistakes, right? Because there's no failure, right? There's only feedback if you take that feedback. Not failure, just feedback. But these leaders that I've observed who were very successful, they were intentional. They knew exactly what were the characteristics. They identified strongly with being an influential leader, and by extension they were influential. They were doing their own inner work. They were doing, it's not that the company had trainings and that's what all they're doing. If you're just waiting on your company to just train and give you the information, you're not going to grow. It has to come from within, because the work is you. You've heard me say, if you've been listening to me, you've heard me say, you're not two people, you're one person. The same way you behave in your personal life is the very same way you show up in your professional life, right? It just might take a particular set of circumstances to bring whatever out of you. But ask yourself the question, what type of leader do you identify with? Have you really thought about it? And go think about it. Go think about how you want it to be different. It is not too late to make that change. And like I said, up to this point you might be saying, but I don't operate that way. I don't try to bulldoze on people. I don't bully people. I am not an autocratic leader. I don't think I'm better than anyone. That might be so. But if you have not thought about it, you are flying by the seat of your pants, and I don't want that for you. And so this is my message to you tonight. What you can do, what I'll invite you to do, I have a 3-day self-leadership challenge. You can start there. 3 days. You sign up right now. You're going to get the first email tomorrow, Friday. You're going to get the second one Saturday, and the third and final one you're going to get on Sunday. And it won't take you an hour. And so, how invested are you? If you need more support, I have my mindset mapping sessions. Please check the link in the bio or send me a DM, and I can certainly send you that link so we can help you even further and support you even further in your growth. But think about it. What is the identity of the leader, of a successful leader? What is the identity of an influential leader, and do you know what that is, and are you being intentional about it? And so share this out with a work bestie. Let me know if you have enjoyed tonight's episode, and I will talk to you on another live stream. All right, thank you so much for joining. Bye.